Some say that the world is more negative, in this present moment, than it has ever been, that there is more strife, turmoil, and chaos in the world. I would not disagree with this statement, but I don't believe that human beings are any more negative, or more warlike now than they were in the past. What I do believe, and what could be considered a fact, if you too believe what we are being told by modern social scientists, is that the human population is now increasing at a geometric rate. This upsurge in population creates more of everything, good and bad. And while the positive and the negative, from the human perspective, might have increased in equal proportions, one can conclude logically that there is more negativity, to be sure. It is perhaps because of the fact that there is more negativity, and more human prey, that there seems to be a large upsurge in parasitic beings, now preying on mankind, as well. By parasitic beings, I mean non-organic beings, and more specifically, predatory, non-organic beings. These parasitic non-organic life forms have been here on this earth since the dawn of time, and there seems to be a direct relation between their increased number and the upsurge in human population. As a result of this increase, I am often asked for advice on how to deal with these predatory entities. So many people asked me for such advice actually, that I wrote a book on this very subject. In it I describe how to defend yourself by absorption, instead of creating barriers and wardings of one sort or another. I advocate this type of absorption technique because, in my opinion, it is the only way to battle this kind of parasitic entity. As I point out in the book, the act of warding, or a direct psychic confrontation with these entities, involves a general, and sometimes profound expenditure of energy, that is not only costly, it can actually further feed these parasitic beings, by providing them with large sums of psychic life energy. This is so because these self-defense methods project energy. You need to project energy, in order to create a barrier, or to attack in one way or another. A non-organic predatory life form of sufficient complexity, of which there are many, can use this defense and attack energy that a person projects, to further feed itself. So essentially these kinds of psychic self-defense methods are not very effective in the long run, and could actually make matters worse. Energy absorption on the other hand is an invigorating, instead of debilitating, self-defense method that turns the tables on the parasitic attack. You essentially eat the entity, instead of the entity eating you. These parasitic entities often just hover around negativity of all sorts, and scoop up energy in the same way that a scavenger might feed on prey that has been brought down by another. These entities are not always passive though, and they may attack a person to try and drain more energy from them. But whatever it may do to drain more energy from you, trying to elicit fear or intense emotion of one kind or another, you can learn to absorb this attack energy. A person can learn to absorb the attack, and the life force from this parasitic entity itself, until this non-organic gets the hint and moves on to easier prey, or it is destroyed through complete energy absorption. Some of these parasitic beings can be very powerful, and I have had people tell me of cases where the energy absorption techniques I advocate seem to just make these larger and more powerful non-organics mad, which then further exacerbates the attack. Under such conditions, my advice is that the person continue to practice the techniques outlined in the book, so that they are able to develop more focus and more power, until they are able to absorb large quantities of energy, and are able to do this anytime, and for extended periods. In this way, these parasitic entities, incredibly, can become an asset in a way, because they then become a type of battery pack, that the person that is being attacked can use to replenish their own energy. These non-organic predatory beings need to have energy to function, just like we do. They get this energy from the people that they feed from, and from the negativity that they pick up from all around the Earth environment, as we human beings quite unconsciously, shoot off emotional energy this way and that. But, using the techniques mentioned, a person can turn these entities into a type of battery pack, to suck in high quantities of psychic energy, that they can then use for themselves. Even the anger of these beings, or whatever attack that they may throw at you, is energy. And this energy can be absorbed and used, so that in this way, you can effectively and quite completely, turn the tables on this type of attacker. As a person's energy absorption technique improves, these entity attacks will only invigorate the would-be victim, who now has a type of psychic battery pack to draw from. If you would like to get a detailed explanation of the energy absorption technique mentioned in this video, then I recommend the book, Vampire's Way to Psychic Self-Defense. In this book, you will not only learn all about how to use the energetic absorption technique against non-organic parasites, you will also learn about how to use this technique to defend against person-to-person psychic attacks, and how to absorb the general negative energy from the environment. I will leave a link to the book in the description below.